Alright, hi. So we're going to talk about what went wrong. So there's a couple things. I know in the slides I mentioned, I wanted to do multiplayer, I wanted to have multiple bikes, multiple tracks, and actually the ability to change the bike's colors. That's primarily what I'm going to show here, but I also want to speak to one other thing that really did go wrong for me, and it was a pretty big deal as well. And if you notice this area that you're looking at, you have it's a big mountainous area, and I have these trees here and bushes all over the place that have really low polygon count. The reason for that is because when I was designing this initially, I had trees that were beautiful trees. They looked real. They looked like you could walk up to them and it would look like a real tree. So the unfortunate thing with that is they had such a high poly count that when they got loaded into the device, it would lag. It was lag city. It was just horrible. You could press the accelerate button and you could hear the sound even just stuttering as you're moving along, and it was real jumpy moving along. The device I primarily use is the Dell Pro 8, and it couldn't handle it. I'm sure if I was using a Tegra, then it probably would have been fine, but the stuff that they put in the Dell Pro 8 just isn't up to par for that kind of process to be run. It provided way too many problems. So the main thing that we spoke about, I'm going to go to this, I have these old scenes here, and I have this main track, right? I created this main track with the intentions of having one really big track that was going to have multiple different racetracks attached to it. You'd have one really big outer one that cuts around this area here if you can see the mouse, and just multiple different tracks, right? And it would have worked great had the multiplayer functionality been able to work properly for me. I ran into way too many issues trying to get multiplayer in there that I wasn't able to do it. I tried to add extra bikes to the scene so that I could then take those bikes and actually race them against each other. But I just ran into way too many issues. There were too many extra variables that had to be added, had to be done. It ended up really putting it out of scope. I would have spent, just alone on a single course trying to get it to work, I would have probably spent 6 months or more just trying to get that to work properly. It was something that just, it wasn't going to function properly. It was really, like I said, it was out of scope. So then the other option that I also had spoke about was the ability to create your own colors for your bikes. So currently this is the sports bike that's in the game. It's kind of a dark bluish color, and what I wanted to do is I wanted to add the ability for players to go in and customize. I felt that maybe somebody wants to customize their bike and have a look that they want, not something that they have to use every time. I wasn't able to do that. It wasn't able to happen due to the fact that I was running into so many issues with just getting that multiplayer thing to work. So in the end, there was a lot of discussion between myself, my advisors, that we decided that it would be in my best interest if instead we went a different route, and we came up with the other idea, which ended up becoming Coal Mine Escape, and went that route instead. So that's really the biggest thing that went wrong. I mean, there were other minor things that went wrong here and there, but the two major things were, one, not being able to do the original idea, and then two, the limitations of the device that we have to deal with. And that's something that I think everybody really has to pay attention to, especially when designing a game for a mobile platform.